العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وبعد. Then this is our ninth program in the for the program of Ramadan in the year 1445 of the Hijrah of al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we're a little early today, and that is because it has been raining here all day and all night, and that usually messes with our internet, as well as people are going to come home and then it's going to really be bogged down. So we figured let's get it in while we can, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll return to the normal time of 4 p.m. Mecca time tomorrow, bi'idnillahi ta'ala. The question of the day that was asked to Abu Ammar, Muhammad ibn Abdullah bin Musa, Hafidhullah, may Allah preserve and protect him, is what is the ruling of the one who believes that fasting is not obligatory on a person until he reaches 15 years old? And is it a condition of puberty to make fasting obligatory? In order for fasting to be obligatory, is it a condition that a person must have reached puberty? The Shaykh, he answers and he says, and from Allah we seek help and assistance to what is correct. Then Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he was asked, or he said rather, puberty is reached by one of three things. Puberty, al-bulugh, is reached by one of three things. Firstly, if a person reaches the age of 15. Secondly, is that the pubic hair, which is the rough hair that appears on the front of one's private area, when that begins to grow. Thirdly, when sperm is ejected due to a desire or pleasure, whether that is at night while one's sleeping or while one is awake. Alhamdulillah. And then we add a fourth one for the women, and that is their monthly cycle. So if a woman receives her monthly cycle, then she has reached the age of puberty. So on this we say that whoever reached the age of 15, whether a male or a female, then they have reached puberty. And whoever had their pubic hair start to grow, even if that's before the age of 15, whether they're a woman, a man, or a woman, then they have reached puberty. And whoever has ejected sperm due to pleasure or desire, whether male or female, even if that's before the age of 15, then they have reached puberty. And if a woman has received her cycle, even if that's before the age of 15, then she has reached puberty. And it's possible that a woman could get her monthly cycle while she's 10 years old. And from here, we see that it's necessary to point out that this issue of the one who is neglectful about it, or that many of the people are neglectful about, is that some of the women, they get their menstrual cycle very early. And they don't know that fasting and other acts of worship become obligatory upon them. And that these issues are now obligatory upon them due to their reaching puberty. And that many of the people think that puberty is only once a person reaches or completes the age of 15. And this is a thought which has no foundation to it. Then the Shaykh Uthaymeen continues, he says, but if a person is not in puberty, he has not reached one of these four things, then fasting is not obligatory upon him. However, some of the people of knowledge have mentioned that it is upon the parents or those who are in charge of the children to order their children while they're young, whether they be male or female, to fast in order to get accustomed to it and used to it until it will become easy for them once they reach the age of puberty. And this is what the Sahaba, radiallahu anhum, may Allah be pleased with all of them, used to do. Indeed, they used to make their young children fast until one of their children would cry, and they would give him a toy made of some type of wool in order to preoccupy him with it until the sun set. This is the end of Sheikh Uthaymeen's speech. Then Sheikh Muhammad bin Musa, he says, so is puberty a condition to make fasting obligatory? He says, yes, it is a condition to make fasting obligatory. And puberty is a condition with a text from the Quran and the Sunnah and with ijma, a consensus of the scholars. So Al-Kasai, rahimahullah, he said, indeed, the child is weak in his makeup, in his nature, and his intellect is deficient, and he is busy with playing and amusement. So, and speaking about these types of obligations are difficult upon him. It becomes difficult for him, such as fasting. And the legislation has prevented him from being mandated to do these acts of worship. So the one who has not reached the age of puberty or the signs of puberty, then the Islamic legislation has left this off due to his weakness in his makeup, in his body, in his physical body, as well as his intellect, and him being busy with other things and not being able to handle certain speeches and obligations, such as fasting. So it's not obligatory, and the Islamic legislation has taken that into account. He also says that the Prophet ﷺ said, Rufi al-qalamu an thalatha. The pen has been lifted from three, meaning the obligations have been lifted from three. Meaning any of the Islamic obligations that are on a person are lifted from three. An sabi hatta yablugh, on the child until he reaches puberty. Wa an naim hatta yastayqiz, and on the sleeping person until he wakes up. Wa an al-ma'tuh hatta yabraha, and on the insane person until he is cured or until he reaches his sanity. This hadith is Sahih, narrated by Ahmed, Abu Dawood, and Nasai, Ibn Khuzaymah, and Al-Hakim. And this wording that we read here is the wording of Abu Dawood from the hadith of Ali radiallahu anhu. As for the consensus that it is a condition, that puberty is a condition to make fasting obligatory, then those who committed or transmitted this ijma, those who carried out and spread this ijma, said this is ijma, said this is a consensus, are Ibn Hazm, Ibn Rushd, Muhammad ibn Muflih, Ibrahim ibn Muflih, and An-Nawawi. May Allah have mercy upon all of them. And Allah knows best what is correct, and to him is the return and the final resting place. And may the salat and the salam be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon his family and all of his companions. Again, we apologize for the early episode today, but we wanted to get it in before the internet was bogged down for us. Tomorrow we'll return at the same time, bi'idhnillah, 4 o'clock on Mecca time. Jazakumullahu khairan.